Hey everyone, Isaiah Broussard here.
Stephen Patrick Kelly.
And we just got finished watching the second episode of Fist of the North Star.
And man, look. I mean, I don't even need to eat for the rest of the day because it filled both my mind and my body. That's how good this episode was. I'm not over-exaggerating.
I didn't like this one, man. I didn't like this one. This episode takes about a good 5 minutes to get to where it's going. And a lot of it I feel like we've seen already before. And it ends on the exact same note that the last episode did. Where Lynn is with her group again and Kenshiro and Bat are alone. And Lynn is wishing that she'd be with Kenshiro.
Okay, so the episode starts off with Lynn wondering where Ken is, and then
is how we ended the last episode.
It goes to where Ken and Bat are, and they happen upon these bandits that are torturing.
5 minutes of nothing happening before they find the bandits.
It's like a car in cold weather. You got to start it up, let it get warm and everything.
And that's literally what's happening. We're showing Bat's adventures in this dumb car.
And then once that happens, then it's off you go. And that's exactly what happens in this episode.
And then they run into another group of bandits that are inconsequential. The only difference
with this one
is that it sets up that these guys are involved with a bigger gang, the King guys.
Yeah.
That's literally the only nugget of information we get out of this.
No, that is not literally the only nugget of information. The old man that they were roughhousing had rice seeds, which in the post-apocalypse is basically like gold. Okay? And the rice seeds they're supposed to plant so they can grow rice and have food so that they don't have to scrounge for food anymore. Just like it was before the post.
Yeah, so we have another thing that represents hope in the future, which is exactly what Lynn represented in the last episode. This thing just hits all of the same beats as the last episode we watched.
Hope is never ending. Oh my god.
We just watched we watched the first episode again, man.
Look. There weren't rice seeds in the last episode. There weren't rice seeds in the last episode.
Yeah, and Kenshiro names his attacks now.
We saw Bat's ingenuity.
We saw that Bat was a thief in the last episode, and in this episode, and then let's talk about Bat's ingenuity real quick, because those thieves were dumb. Are not thieves. The bandits were dumb. So Bat shows up. Well, first of all, we meet the old man who's been beat up by the bandits, and Kenshiro stops the bandits, and we find that they took his rice seeds, and rice seeds for the future. Okay, we get it. That's what the last episode was about too. And so Kenshiro's like, "Hey, Bat, you're a thief. Can you go steal these rice seeds back?" And Bat's all like, "Well, yeah, I'm great, but I'm not going to go do that." And Kenshiro chides him out. And you know what? That's literally the only thing that I like about this episode is that I'm saying literally too much. But Kenshiro puts Bat in his little place. Because right now I still don't like Bat. He's selfish and annoying, and I understand that that's what he's supposed to be. He's like the foil of Kenshiro. But he's so very unlikable right now. And so it was and I don't condone child violence, but when Kenshiro slapped Bat around a little bit because he was being a little butt, I kind of smiled. But he also, told him you're all talk, and then that whipped Bat into shape to do something. But literally the only thing that it was literally.
But see,
the only thing that Bat was thinking at the time though was like, I'm gonna lose my meal ticket if I don't make Kenshiro happy.
But see, that's what makes the show relatable.
So maybe we've got a little bit of character development for Bat.
I mean, because
tiny bit.
That's the thing. That's what makes the show relatable. I mean, like in real life, the post-apocalypse is all about what can you do for me.
I just feel like so little of this episode does anything new. And you know what? This is kind of the episodic nature of early shonen things. It's a thing that happens, especially when. Magazines like Jump, which is where Fist of the North Star was originally printed, they're very competitive. And so writers kind of have to get their feet wet, and so they start off and they do these very episodic things before they do these long story arcs. And usually those are periods where I really, really like. an anime or a manga when they're being experimental, when they're finding out who they are, and they're doing these different, just like one-shot episode things. But they usually all feel very different. And this episode just, I felt like we were rewatching the first episode again.
It's the second episode. They got to set up stuff. Look, we weren't watching the same episode. We weren't watching the same episode as before because at the end of the episode, what happens? Lynn,
instead of being in one place, is
now going to go and look for Kenshiro for a tearful reunion. I don't know what. I mean,
Kenshiro just returned to the village that she was from.
No, that's not the same village.
Oh, was it not?
No, that's not the same village. No. This is a different village altogether because that old man wasn't from that village.
Either way, we could have ended the last episode with Lynn going on her search.
Well,
I had nothing.
I mean, but like, you know, she was waiting for him to come back, and like Kenshiro never came back, so she's like, well, fine, screw it, I'm gonna go find him myself.
We get a little bit about that, and then we get names for Kenshiro's techniques now.
No, look, see that right there in itself is vintage Fist of the North Star. Of course, you got names to go with the moves. You got names to go with the moves in like stuff like in Dragon Ball Z and One Punch Man, in freaking Street Fighter.
I'm just pointing out that that's the only new thing that we get here.
It's the best thing about the show.
I didn't like this episode.
It's the sound effects in this show.
And like I said before, I've watched the first few story arcs of this series before in the past, and so I know we eventually get to some really cool stuff. I don't remember much about these very episodic episodes, and I know we're going to go through a whole bunch of them before we get to Shin.
You have to care about these characters.
But
and this episode is teaching you to care about
I want the next episode to do something for me. I don't want it to be the same setup over and over again. I'm just like, it's just an excuse for Kenshiro to beat up more bandits.
Okay? That's all you need. That's all you need. That is all you need for Kenshiro to just show up, dispense justice to those that need a straightening out. You know,
there are other ways to frame that than using the same formula from the first episode.
Look, did he catch rice with his foot? You know, out.
These are all superficial things.
It's not super. It's really cool. It's really cool. I feel like you.
But the episode had no substance.
It had plenty of substance. They saved a village. And,
again, they saved the village again.
But they made sure that village was able to eat.
The village gets its hope stinger again.
Yeah. What, you don't like hope or something? I'm sorry. Did you want them to like have their dreams crushed?
I want something that wasn't the exact same thing we watched last time.
Okay, all right. Well,
so I am unmoved.
I am very perfect. I was crying before we actually filmed this video, and Isaiah was like, "Get it together," you know, and I was like, "Okay."
We'll watch more episodes later. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, bye.